welcome to Daisha Breedlove Presents. For those of you that are new to the show, every week I like to touch base on inspirational topics with inspirational guests. Now, some of them you may know, some of them you may not, but as I mentioned, you will always learn something from each episode and have some takeaways. So, my guest today is a music artist named EDee, and the topic of today is International Dream. So, let's meet him and hear how this Jamaican native got to where he is today. EDee, what's
Yeah,
up?
it's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I mean,
Yeah.
we briefly met a couple weeks ago, your story was so inspiring, and I looked at all the stuff that you do, and you do a lot of inspirational things.
Yes.
Yes, especially being born in Jamaica and now living here in Los Angeles. So I wanted to have you as a guest on the show and talk about your music career as well as your acting career and how you made it this far.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Yes,
Yeah.
so let's get right into it. Okay, so first tell us where the name EDee came from.
Well, the name ED is actually my signature for my real name, Everton Dennis. So my friends used to call me E, and I was like, E was kind of too simple. So when I started in music, Everton Dennis was too long of a name to put in like iTunes or Spotify. So I just break it down to the ED, and I kept the Everton Dennis as an actor, but I kept the ED just for the music.
Nice. So wait, slow down. Everton?
Everton Dennis.
Everton
Yeah,
Dennis.
that's what the ED.
Wow.
It's my real name. It's just my signature.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So Edie's short of that.
Yes.
Nice. That's an interesting name. Never heard of it before.
Thank you.
Until now, right?
Yes.
Unique. Okay. So as I mentioned, you were born in Jamaica. And now you're living here in Hollywood. So tell us, what was it like growing up in Jamaica, and when was it that you knew you wanted to be an artist?
Well, I grew up like a country boy. I'm used to farming, fishing. I grew up young where my father used to work on the cane field, and my mother as well. So I grew up like hustling and helping my mom in the field. It was eight of us, so I was the last one always around in the yard helping out. And so it was cool because we could jump in the rivers,
Yeah.
catch fish. At that time, we never had like lights running water, so we just grew natural as a country boy in Clarendon. And
Nice.
it was a good life. We were like, I was a church boy, choir boy. So
Is that like a thing in Jamaica that people go to church
yes,
a lot?
cultural. It's a very
Nice.
cultural. Every mile is a church in Jamaica. We have more churches than anything else.
Really? Wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Nice. So when was it exactly that you knew you wanted to be an artist?
Well, it started when I came here as a opportunity for me because I didn't come here Hollywood for really acting and music. I did
Oh.
electrical installation, and I had 2 years in electrical. But for me, there was no opportunity in the countryside. So for us, it's either you go to Kingston or you make it to America. And the best time to make it is normally after high school. So I got the opportunity to come to LA. It happened to be an acting school called
wow.
Theater of Arts.
Really?
And it was owned also by MI, Music Institute of Hollywood. So I was a student there. And I just heard that you're a natural, and that becomes something.
Yeah.
So I landed my early role back in the days with Malik Yober in Overkill for my first
Nice.
year, and the music started in LA as well.
So
It found me.
yeah. So you kind of stumbled upon it
Yeah,
accidentally, the acting.
accidentally, yes.
Amazing. Okay, and then you kind of realized like this is something I actually like doing.
Yes,
That's-
the passion. And I had to make a choice between being an engineer or music and film, and I made that choice. Go with the feel.
Wow.
Mhm.
So were there ever any like signs when you were kind of growing up that you are interested in being an artist, or you may see your become an artist eventually? Like, was you interested in that?
Yes, I was a fan of Shabba Ranks and Beanie Man and all the late dancehall artists. So I used to freestyle in school, and I used to sing in church. So, but my mom never wanted me to be a part of that whirly in music, we would say.
Yeah.
But when I came to LA, I had an opportunity to do a collaboration with a rapper, and that turned into music. And I realized that, okay, well, reggae music is really positive vibration,
Oh yeah.
especially here in America. So I went that direction.
Nice. Okay. So, um, growing up in Jamaica, were you able to? I guess you kind of answered my next question. Were you able to pursue your career as an artist freely, or do you feel like moving to the U.S. was something mandatory to kind of get it to be taken seriously? Because I feel like sometimes your hometown could not take you serious as far as like when you go somewhere else, other people look at you as like this big star. So do you feel like you had to kind of come to the States to kind of make that dream a reality, or what would you say?
Well, because I didn't really have that big dream to be an artist and an actor, when I came here, I was accepted with open arms when I went back. I don't know if because I was from Hollywood and they look to Hollywood as the big thing, but my first releases that it actually went number one. Yeah, and I was
Wow.
loved ever since I've returned. Every time I return, they treat me like,
A Hollywood
a Hollywood
star.
star.
Yeah.
So
So you would say coming to LA was kind of what initiated them to kind of take you more
I think
serious.
so because everyone in Jamaica look to Hollywood and it's a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he actually made it a
Yeah, he
reality.
made it.
Yeah, okay. It's so
Yeah.
funny. And it's like,
Mhm.
I feel like in our hometowns, people look at you like, oh, you made it already. Are you like this big star? But also, they don't know we're still putting in
Yeah,
hard work
the
here, kind of
struggles
doing the
and
same
yeah,
thing, but just in a completely different town. So
exactly.
they just see
Mhm.
like the glitz and the glamour and, oh, they're in Hollywood. So to them, it's like you made it, which in a way is true because you kind of got out of it.
Yeah,
But we're still grinding.
we're still
It's a
grinding and
consistent
still
game.
having our, struggles and our,
Yeah.
thing that we go through. But they don't see that side, which
Yeah.
sometimes for me, I don't always want to explain that side. I just like to inspire and motivate the youth.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Amazing. Okay, so tell us, what was that transition like for you coming to the US? Because obviously, as we know, Jamaica is a completely different culture. It's very natural there. The lifestyle's different. But especially after me reading that you are the youngest of eight, rest in peace to your mother. Tell us kind of what that transition was like. Like, was
Well,
it?
well, I was kind of homesick a lot, and especially I was also going through the struggle of still my mother passing away. So being here was lonely, really, really lonely the first year, and it was a lot of struggles because when I came here, I came on my own. I was 17 plus, so I ended
Mm,
up living hostel, and then in Jamaica, even going as a country boy, what we consider poor, we normally would have fruits, we could go fishing, so
yeah,
we never really hungry. So
exactly.
coming here was the first time I experienced being hungry and no friends, and so it was a struggle for a while until I actually made it out and took my sister, and then my sister and I was just like made it home.
Together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cooking
Yeah.
Jamaican food and
Yeah.
kind of making
I had
it.
a place, me and her there. She cooked for me. We just made it into the best that we could
Mhm.
until it becomes like we accepting it that this is it. We got to make
Yeah.
it work.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, was your family back at home kind of supportive of this dream? Because I'm also the youngest of
Mm.
seven.
Yeah.
And I know when you're the youngest kid or the youngest child, everyone could be very protective over you,
Mm.
especially when you're a female. So,
Yeah.
like, was your family supportive of this or rooting for you, or were they kind of like, I don't know about you going to the States because it's kind of a big town, is the complete opposite of what you're used to?
Well, they're very supportive because they knew that if I stayed there, I don't really, really would have made it like big or do anything with sometime with your life because some kids are still at the same level, like same situation they're in now
Yeah.
that didn't leave. So everyone was happy that I leave because if I didn't leave, I wouldn't be able to take my second to last sister with me and
Mm,
also help other ones that were there in situations. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And now most of my brothers and sisters, they all visit me. I have my two sisters coming to visit.
Wow. They're like, we need
One
you to
from
stay
Jamaica, one
there.
from Florida. They're like,
We
oh, we
vacation.
finally have somebody in Hollywood. Yeah.
Amazing. So they were supportive. That's
Yeah, they
amazing.
was.
Okay. What would you say the hardest part was coming to the US, Hollywood specifically, from Jamaica, pursuing entertainment? Like, what's the main thing that you feel like was like a challenge for you?
The main thing is, of course, is finance because the first thing is like you don't have nowhere to sleep, and then the second thing was like immigration. Like you got to figure out how you're gonna be able to maintain a student visa, and so that
Yeah, I
struggle
heard
of
about that.
getting a job and getting the proper work permits is
Uh-huh.
is also another struggle. And then so now you got to find a place, but now you got to be able to get your documents. So
Yeah.
those were the toughest part. Once I got all those straight, then I was able to fly really, because then you could really, get like everything together to make money and
Mm-hmm.
get the right business. So I opened my record store back then, way back, and I was doing very well. I had
Wow.
a record store in Crenshaw, and I was one of the main spot in LA where
Mm.
everyone who come from Jamaica have to come.
Yeah, and they actually really love Jamaicans.
Yeah,
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 especially
yeah.
in that
So,
area for sure. I noticed
yeah.
that. Okay, so I guess before I kind of go into my next question, how would you say you kind of overcame the fear of moving internationally to the States and pursuing something that a lot of people may be discouraged to do? And also just kind of just keeping, a smile on your face, and also being able to be a father, a brother, a friend, also having a social life. Like, what would you say kind of keeps you going and able to just keep pursuing this dream?
Well, the first thing is because I grew up in the church, I have a higher power, I believe. So I'm not say more so much religious, but I'm more spiritual. So
Yeah.
for me, the higher power always keep me, even when friends leave you or family betray you. That type of thing, I stand firm regardless.
Yeah.
So that's the first foundation for me.
Yeah.
And also, just believing in yourself. I learned to have a lot of self motivation. I don't need like, oh, I gotta look and search for things.
Right.
And I also, study and research and learn to adjust
Mm-hmm.
to times and things. Like if it's a tough time, I know how to just budget or whatever to survive. Because I used to having nothing. So for me to reach where I am,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to adjust back. You
Yeah.
can't just live a lifestyle on a high level. Like sometimes I gotta just chill. And I'll just eat the same Jamaican food I grew up in the country,
Yeah.
Maybe some just basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I cook, So, I just be able to adjust to all the situation, and that's how kind of like how I am.
Yeah, and before I go into the next question, I want to kind of emphasize on what you just said, as far as you do your research. I mean, we live in a day of information to where there's nothing that we can't find online.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always there's no reason to not know, because you can find out if you choose to. So that's a really, really big one. Not kind of just waiting for information to be given to you, but actually going out and searching for it on your own is like a big one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people kind of just take what's given to them, and a lot of times it's the wrong information until you kind of go and do your own research. So do your own research.
Yeah,
do your own research. That's a big one. Okay, so back to the questions. Your breakthrough moment came in 2005 with your first single, Are You Ready? So tell us the inspiration behind that and what that moment was like.
It was a good time for dancehall because Sean Paul and Shaggy and everyone was out. So I remember the time when I came, and it was like they were huge in Hollywood, and I was going to the Jamaican Gold Club.
Mm-hmm.
That was the energy. It was a good feel music. So I decided I wanted to do a song that could get placed in movies and TV, as well as that could cross over, and it became my first album. Called JA to LA to the World. It was produced by Q Million, who was back then a platinum producer, and now he's a 2-time Grammy winner.
Nice.
Yeah, and so we created a song, shot the video in Compton Airport with a helicopter, all that stuff, and I got a deal in Japan for an import deal, and that went well. And my second single was the first release. I went back home in Jamaica to, release from the album.
Wow.
And the single actually got placed in Freshman Days on HBO.
Nice.
That Are You Ready was my first TV placement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that was the one that kind of that was the moment that you feel like your career really kind of took off.
Oh yeah. I was getting played on the biggest station in Jamaica, and I was selling records in Japan, so I was making money. And then when you realize that this can really make money, and it motivates you a lot
to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. Now, I also read in your bio that it took you a few years to kind of develop your fan base in your hometown. Why do you think that is? I mean, we briefly discussed it a little earlier, but why would you say it took you longer to develop?
Well, my fan base was developed in LA first. I became the most popular reggae artist in LA because I had a store and I was selling my own CD next to Nipsey Hussle. He was at Slauson, I was at 67 Crenshaw. So while he was doing a little CD, I was doing mine same time. And so I became popular from event promoters coming to my store to sell tickets. And then I was pushing their flyer. Yeah. And they want me to promote them while the traffic comes in. Yeah. So they'll book me, and then I'll sell my CD there, and I'll go to the shows, and I'll get a booth. And so I made a name from selling thousands of CDs in the streets.
And just networking.
And it took a year or two because it take that timing is slower. It's not like the internet, you go viral in a day.
I know. I was just saying with the last guest, we live in a different day now.
Yeah. So
TikTok, one post, you're famous.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I made my name in LA as the main artist in LA. you know, and it took a while to really made it back to Jamaica to make that name, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get into the acting a little bit. Now you're also an actor. What would you say your greatest moment has been so far?
The
As far as
greatest
the acting
moment was
goes.
when I produced my own biopic. You know, me and Q and my partner from the first album, we decided to, you know, buy a camera and raise our own fund and screened it, and it happened. You know, we made it, completed, screened it in LA. Got the best feel was when I did the red carpet in Santa Monica, and there was 1,000 people on my red carpet, including a lot of celebrity.
Wow.
Especially to see Leon from Five Heartbeat and Cool Runnings on my red carpet, who I grew up. And we had Paul Campbell, who was a #1 actor from Jamaica. He was in the film. He came in town for it. And it was a lot of great actors like Jeffrey Gunter and came through. And to see that I actually did it after 2 years and at the premiere, and to see the love I got, it really, really let people know, like, you got to believe in your dream and do it. Because I've never made a movie. You know, I never produced a movie, and we decided we're going to do it. We completed, and it's a success. It's now the highest rated movie in Jamaica history on Rotten Tomato. Yeah.
Wow. So, that is
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And that's just a sign to show you to trust your vision, or you're on the right path.
Yes,
because
yes.
it wouldn't have became a success, or you wouldn't have got supported from the higher power and just people in general if that wasn't what you were meant to be doing. So you got to pay attention to the signs. That's a big one. Okay. So as we mentioned earlier briefly, you are also a dad. How would you say you manage being a father and entrepreneur, as well as having a social life without overwhelming yourself? I think we kind of briefly discussed that, but I kind of want to emphasize it real quick.
I don't think that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I know when to step back from career and entertainment, because family is first. So for me, like summertime, I had 3 weeks this week where it was just all the kids. It's like all the people called me for studio and certain things. This was like, I'm not available.
Yeah.
I'm with the family. That's me. So that time I would put away and then I'll go back to work. And so in between that, it's not too much pressure, but I also want to make sure that they have a great time every time, and I want to also give them that time. So you have to block that time off, like, you know, certain time a year. You know that that's the time.
And it's like whatever you're doing at the time, just being present with that. Yeah. Whether that's being a father, you know, you're strictly focused on that, or being, you know, an actor, you're focused on that. So it's like kind of knowing how to manage the different hats and just being present in those. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So what would you say the greatest quality is you learned so far on this journey that every artist you feel should possess?
The greatest quality for me was to find in myself, you know, like, because when I grew up, I didn't really know certain things, or I wasn't taught certain things, you know. So for me, in the entertainment and in acting, it teach me a lot of patience, and it also teach me a lot of things that will make me a better person as a man, or growth, you know. And so for me, it was always about the personal growth for me, to really be like, okay, what direction, how do I feel, how do I treat people, and all the things I've discovered about yourself within that journey. And that's the best part of my journey, which is a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's not really one or two, but it's so many things that you could learn along the way, being in entertainment, you know, acting, and creating, you know. Because, you know, I write a lot of songs about my real true story, you know what I mean? And I also write about what I see and in society and social issues, all that.
Yeah. So you would say, like, the qualities that every artist should possess is just being true to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, whatever that experience is for you, you know, so kind of taking that and making it your own based on your upbringing, or what you've been through, or what you've seen or kind of overcame.
Yeah.
I definitely would agree with that, because I feel like each of our perspectives is so unique, because we all come from different places.
Exactly.
We all have different qualities, different niches about us. So it's like when you make it your own and owning that, it's like, oh, I've never seen that before, because why haven't you? Because it's something that's coming from me. You know, we all have our different things. So it's kind of up to us to kind of capitalize off our uniqueness, you know?
Yeah, because we're all unique, like what you're saying. And in order to really discover the true you and to stay true to what you do, is to discover more about you and improve as you grow little by little. And it's a beautiful thing. That's why I like it.
It's just improving and learning about yourself. I mean, I'm learning about myself every day.
Yeah,
every day. Okay, so as we kind of wrap this up, how would you say EDee overall, as an artist, businessman, father, as well as an actor, has grown versus when you first started?
Well, I would say the growth creative wise is I judge myself a lot of time when I do a song. So like if I write a song, I was like, you know what? If I listen to one of my songs 5 years back, then it's like I could have done better. So what I do, I'll go back and try to improve on the lyrical content, and also think about the topics I talk about. Like certain things, I'll be like, okay, well, it seems like it's kindergarten, and now I gotta like talk about
Of
stuff that
that.
makes sense, that
Yeah.
inspire maybe more. So I end up doing more roots music after a while as well, not just dancehall, because I wanted to teach something
Yeah.
and build awareness.
Like
You know
get
what I
back in
mean?
the
Yeah.
way.
So you move from a song like Are You Ready? Now I have a song like Revolution and Where I Belong.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like
It's like you're dancing and you're learning.
Yeah. You know, because I want to feel like music is a mission. So for me, when I realize it's a mission, it's not just for me to make money and but it's also to help others and to inspire others. You know, I end up start writing in that field, and also my biopic was about the journey and inspiring others. You know, as a Jamaican kid from Jamaica coming to LA.
Yeah.
So out the gate is I'm a place from Tollgate, Clarendon. And out the gate was me coming out of that struggle, making it in Hollywood. And the music tells the same story in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. So yeah, like you said, you never stop improving and recreating yourself. You know, and it's good to rewatch some of the stuff you've done over the years, because I feel like some people, and I was actually one of those people where I would used to delete all my old content. It's like, okay, I've gotten better now. I speak better. You know, we think we look better. I don't want nobody to look at that anymore. But then it's like, actually, when you study the old you and you just seen how much you've grown and how much you improved, it's really inspiring.
Yeah, I kept everything.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm not deleting nothing else. Let me just keep growing and seeing like where I started versus where I am now. And people actually like to see the journey of you.
People love it.
Yeah,
because the story behind your journey is very important. It's not just where you're at now. It's like people remember me actually on the block selling CD, and that's when the people see me. They're like, I can't believe he made it out from Crenshaw on the block.
Exactly.
And be like, I had to make it out of Jamaica to make it to Crenshaw, and then make it to
Exactly.
So that journey is important, and that's why I did a film because visual, is very important for us for a lifetime. So you could go back to it. And now that my shop is not there, a lot of times I have to watch the movie to see that scene where I was on the block.
Yeah, and just remind you to keep going and just why you should trust your vision. So I totally agree. We all have to start from somewhere. Definitely. So, and it's like it's easy to kind of see a person and like, oh, they didn't just start like this. Everybody starts as a beginner. So that's super inspiring. Thanks for sharing that info. Okay, so as we wrap this up, what can we expect next from you and be on the lookout for?
Well, I have a film coming out July 13 with Vivica Fox. It's a romantic comedy, and Patient Azu and Miguel News Jr. And it's a great collab of African American actors with African actors from Kenya, Nigeria, and me from Jamaica. So that combination with the difference between the family and believe in Africa and here in America, and all that is it's a wonderful film called Mother-in-Law, and I have another one called Temperature Rising coming.
Nice.
While I'm also working on one called Babylon right now. So I've been working on films, and I'm dropping singles. So people are always looking for new records. I'm always dropping singles with Q Million. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm always working, doing things.
Always working. Okay, I love that. You're gonna have to come back and update us on when you get your billboard and all that. Definitely check in with you. Okay, so my last question is, if you could leave any future entrepreneurs or artists with any piece of advice, what would you say?
Well, I would say invest in yourself, because a lot of artists want to make it, but they're not willing to work and put away a little savings and shoot their own video or put money behind their production. So like, you could make your own short film. And so I think a lot of talented artists is not investing in themselves, and they're not believing in themselves. It's like, how would somebody invest in you if you don't want to invest in you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so in many ways, you could invest in you.
Yeah.
Is rehearsal, be a better artist, put a little money behind you. And that's what I always do, why I'm always successful in what I do, because I don't wait on anybody.
Right. That's the key. Not waiting. Just create your own. And now we're in the age where we can do that.
Yeah.
Because it used to be like, that mom reminds me all the time. Like, this is a creative stage, post your own stuff, create your own, and you have the freedom to do so. So
Definitely.
why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Yes, I like that. Okay, so tell everybody where's the best place to reach you and keep up with all that you're doing.
You could find me at Real Dancehall Celebrity on IG, or EDee in Spotify. Nice. Or EDee on Google, or YouTube, E-Dee.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Like I said, you're going to have to come back, and I will attach all of EDee's information at the bottom of the screen so you guys could keep up with him and check out his films and his acting clips and all the stuff that he's doing. So that wraps us up for Daisha Breedlove Presents, and I will see you next week with another inspirational guest and another inspirational episode.